Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Every time I get together with her, we learn so much about these modalities. I'm talking about Chinese medicine. She practices all different aspects of that, from herbals to acupuncture. And today we're going to talk about acupuncture and some of the things it supports. Now, we've talked about a number of things that it can help you out with. Today, cramps, they come up time to time. They could be leg, arm, stomach, etc. Acupuncture can help with that. Let's dig in. Dr. Kelly, located in New York City, and she can also do virtual consultations for things other than acupuncture. Obviously, you have to be in her office for that. Dr. Kelly, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
I have knee pain today. Out of nowhere, well, every once in a while, a little sore, but it's like nothing goes away in a second. And today, it's kind of like every time I take a step, that feeling of, I hope it's not going to be more painful or if I'm going to do damage or anything. I don't know why, what's going on there, but just a random pain, like a cramp. Can acupuncture can actually help with that?
Yes, actually, acupuncture is very powerful. It's working on a lot of field we may don't even know.
Mm.
For the pain, actually, is very, very effective. I have patient come in for all kind of pain, like neck pain, shoulder pain, lower back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, toe pain, all kind of pain. Um, from my experience, it's basically working on every single patient. So it is very effective.
So questions, and I'm going to use my knee as an example. So let's say you have some pain. Let's say knee pain, whatever. Maybe you played tennis and now you're a little bit of pain there, a cramp. Um, you get acupuncture. Is it taking care of the root issue? Like, for example, let's say you've done something, maybe you've tore something and you're not really sure. Obviously, if it's excruciating pain, um, you elevate it and see a specialist for that. But if you get acupuncture for these little cramps and things like that, how do you know that it's not potentially something else and that's masking the pain?
So in Chinese medicine, we have a saying, if you have pain, means there's some blockage. So the blockage can be caused by one injury, right? You injured, you did some sports, exercise, or you lifted something very heavy, you injured the muscle, or, you know.
Hmm.
Um, the second thing can be from coldness. Like, for example, winter is very cold, very windy, it's snowing even outside. Well, nowadays, we have AC, so even in the summer, actually you can have cold get into your body, from your knee, from your shoulder, even from your neck. So it's so common actually in the summer because the AC everywhere and it's turned on so big, it's like winter almost. If you go to somewhere, you feel you have to have a jacket on, even have a sweater on because it's so cold. So one of the thing is from injury, one thing can be from the coldness. So that can cause blockage, even in somewhere in your body, can be deep, can be like not too deep, can like form the scar tissue. Your fascia and the muscle is stuck together. So that scar tissue make the blood very hard to go through. That's why you have pain. I treated so many patients. Actually, yesterday there's a lady.
Hmm.
She has this pain on her hip, on her leg for so long. She went to other acupuncturists, didn't really help her. But yesterday I used like such a long needle. It's so long, but it really get into the point where the scar tissue is. She felt so much relief. She like, oh, thank you, Dr. Kelly. I know it's that's the right spot you're
Wow.
hitting on. I feel so much better.
Wow. Okay, so I want to address what you're saying here because there might be a connection. The last few nights, I have slept with the window wide open, two windows wide open. Woke up yesterday morning, like, whoa, it was 48 degrees out. So bedroom was very cold. Probably should have put a sweatshirt on, but I was sleeping. So, you sometimes you sleep better when it's a little cooler. But it's definitely cold. Um, could that, based on what you're saying, temperature have something to do with a flare up of knee pain?
Yes, yes. Actually, a lot of knee pain patients, they reported to me said when, it's raining or it's even cloudy, they felt their knee even
Sure,
more painful.
sure.
So that's linked with the damp cold. When it's damp, when it's cold, you feel more pain. Even you're the weather weather person, you're telling people, oh, it's gonna rain because your joints telling
hmm
you, oh my
hmm
God, I feel more pain, so they're gonna be rain.
So I want to go back to, and we've talked about this. I keep count twice so far. This will be the third time, but it's so important. Cold and hot. When the body runs cold and hot, why is that so impactful in Chinese medicine? And can you just explain it again for all of us? What's going on there with, and should we run hot? Is that better? Um, where should we be in terms of temperature overall?
Very good question, Steve. So in Chinese medicine, we always talk about the balance. We never say, even in Chinese medicine in general, we prefer warm than cold, right? Like for example, we suggest patients drink warm water, not drinking cold water.
You've mentioned
But
that
we,
before, and it's on
I
my
mentioned
radar,
that
by the way.
before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I never say drink boiling hot water, right?
Right. Right.
So it's always in a balance, even cold and hot. We never say too hot is good. Too cold, of course, is not good for sure. Obviously, it's bad for you because cold, think about this, cold have the potential to congeal. So when you have cold, everything slow down. Just think
Hmm.
about the water, the ice, right? When it's cold, everything slow down.
Look at
Like your
trees, look
your
at flowers, everything. Everything shuts down when it's cold. Hmm.
yes, yes. So cold just slow down everything, slow down your digestion, slow down your blood movement. That's why when you have coldness in your body, your blood just cannot really move. So
Hmm.
that's why people have the pain, have the cramp. Think about the people who have cramp most of the time. Not everyone, of course. Athletes, they're different because they're running on their feet all the time. They use their body. They can have cramp even in the daytime, right? When they're doing the sports. But for normal people, right? When we have cramp, usually sometime at night, right? You are not moving because you are kind of like in a still stage because you're lying down on the bed. You're not moving at all. So your blood kind of like moving even more slower. So because you're not active, right? Your body kind of like in a colder situation compared with daytime when you're active. So your blood even move more slower. In that way, it's even harder to move down to your lower leg, to your feet, to your toes. That's why a lot of people have cramp on their lower leg, on their feet, on their toes.
Hmm.
So cold just somehow has the nature of congeal. So that's why in Chinese medicine, we don't prefer anything cold. That's why we said, try to do not turn on AC all the time. Don't let the AC blow on you. Like if you have AC just behind you, try to put something maybe around your neck so the cold cannot just get into you through your neck.
My mom was right. I'm serious. She used to say this stuff all the time. And I was a kid. I'm like, you're old. What do you know? Stop. I wouldn't say that to her, but I'd be thinking like, well, yeah, come on. She would say that all the time. And this is ridiculous. And she would say this, and now it's starting to make sense. When I would sit on the ground outside, and it was, the ground was out, usually colder, right? She would say, get off the ground. You're going to get a cold in your stomach. Now, maybe that's not true, but based on what you're saying, your body is good. You sit on the ground, you're sitting on cold. Maybe that's impacting in some in some way. I guess she was right. Hmm.
Yes, actually, a lot of my patients told me, for example, this relatively young patient, she had PCOS. She said, so I asked her, I said, did you eat a lot of cold stuff? She said, yes. When I was like younger, I
Mm.
always eat a lot of ice cream. My mom always told me, don't. I never listen. I'm like, mom, you are just, older generation. You
Right,
have
right.
your own thing. I'm
Sure.
young, all the
Mhm.
young people eat ice cream no matter
Yep.
when and where. Like, she said, I didn't listen to my mom. Now I call it PCOS. Now I know my mom is right, but it's kind of a little bit too late. I already got it. I said, never be too late, right? I still can help you. But that is so true. A lot of young people, young girls, they eat ice cream when they have their menses, when they have their period. I'm like, try to don't eat ice cream, drink ice cold water when you have your period because you have blood coming out of your body. When you eat the cold stuff, it's gonna slow down the blood flowing. The worst case,
Wow.
blood can go back. You're not gonna have your period again. Of course, that's very extreme cases, but it did happen. Some people like went out in big rain during the period, so the period stopped, never come back. So it is can happen to you, but you may say, "Oh, I'm a strong person. I don't even have cramp. It's not gonna affect you." No, it can affect everybody. It's just in a degree. But in general, cold can jail, cold slow down. That's why I continually repeat this. Try to don't drink ice cold water. Try to don't let the cold blow on you.
Wow. And many women, when it's that time, gravitate toward comfort food. So chocolate, ice cream, whatever. I had no idea that the temperature does make a difference. Wow. Okay. Can we go back to what you said before regarding pain or cramping in it could be a knee, could be an elbow, whatever, connected to fascia. You mentioned that before. How is that? And I know the fascia is this tissue within your entire body that kind of holds everything together in some regards. And for anybody who doesn't know, when you make chicken and you cut the chicken and you see this white, like filmy kind of stuff in it, that's fascia. We have it in us. You mentioned it before. How does that? How does that come into play when you're dealing with cramping and pain?
Um, so the fascia is kind of like like you explained, Steve, like kind of like a thing. Um, it's kind of like fabric. It's a tissue. It's connected to tissue, right? It's wrapped around the muscle in our body, everywhere. So the fascia and the muscle not supposed to stuck totally together. But when you have like injury or coldness or something, the fascia and the muscle can stuck together. Then which means the blood cannot flow through the between. Then you will have pain. So it doesn't matter it's on your toe or it's on your leg or even on your fingers or even on your arms. Doesn't matter where it is because fascia is wrapped around the muscle everywhere in your body, like Steve said. But somehow you got the fascia and the muscle stuck together, kind of like form a scar tissue over there. And sometimes it's very deep. Like I explained about my patient, I have several patients, personal trainer, just like a person who like to do heavy lifting, or a person just always carry heavy stuff. They can have this scar tissue form and it's so deep. Sometimes they say, "Oh, I go to get a massage." Massage person felt they like massage. No, the massage cannot get into that deep because it's so deep. And also, like, even you say, "Okay, I went to get a sauna." No, sauna is good. Sauna is good for you, but sauna cannot really get that scar tissue really break down. Acupuncture needle actually, so far, I think the only one way because I can use a longer needle, I can get into there, I can break it down. Like you see, I go to my Western doctor, they give me like some injection. They're not gonna break down the scar tissue though. It can temporarily break down the pain signal. You may like don't feel so much painful, but it's not the root solution. The only, I think to me, the only root solution is you break down the scar tissue with acupuncture needle, and it had to be 13 long needle. Like if it's like small needle, like a half inch or 1 inch, not even do it. So that's my experience. It work on everyone.
Wow. Of course, some people may hear long needle and think about running. Reiterating here, the thickness of the needle is extremely, extremely fine, right?
It's the needle, even I think long needle is still not that long, not that thick. When you think about the Western doctor needles, it's like nothing compared with them. I sometimes I do, like blood draw or something. All the
Yeah.
needle they use is so much longer and thicker. They
Well,
can give you big bruise on your arm.
yeah, yeah, and I always go by this that that needle that's used to draw blood, you could fit a number of acupuncture needles inside that needle. That's how fine these needles are. So, question: talk about fascia. Let's say somebody's had some surgery, and there's stitches, and then some potential scarring with that. Um, yeah, there's some doctors recommend putting on certain cream like silicone, massaging the area. What about acupuncture? You mentioned fascia, so I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah, actually, acupuncture is very, very effective to break down the scar tissue. Doesn't matter it's like outside you can see it or it's inside. I had patients who like did a big surgery in the front. Like when summer coming, she want to go to beach. They like, look, I have bigger scar tissue over here. Everybody can see it. I don't want to go to beach. So I needed her. The scar literally so fainted, you barely can see. So she can wear bikini, go to beach.
Wow, wow. It's this is such an eye opener in terms of what acupuncture can do to help us. Stands to reason why it's been around for centuries. Um, when we're talking about pain, how about some other examples of how acupuncture can support?
I have a lot of patients coming in for anxiety actually,
Mm.
and anxiety is basically everybody has some. It's just a degree, like it's big or it's small, or you can handle it or not. Some people they cannot handle the anxiety, they have to take a pill.
Hmm.
And some people they can handle it. They just don't take a pill, but they can feel it. But acupuncture, so how acupuncture can relieve anxiety is, I mentioned about before, we have certain points can really soothe down the liver. When you have anxiety, it's kind of like your liver qi stagnant in your body, like stuck here. You cannot really breathe in, breathe out. So acupuncture can smooth the liver qi, so let your qi blood start to move in your body. You feel relaxed. Another explanation is acupuncture somehow actually can calm down the nerve. I think there's a professor in Harvard. He published a paper like maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago. So he in his lab they did experiment. So usually people use mouse to do experiment. So they put some points on the mouse, then they connect with the nerve in the brain. So they monitor it so the nerve calm down. So that's it's an explanation why people feel so relaxed when they do acupuncture. Actually, a lot of my patients they told me they felt the most deep sleep in my office after during the acupuncture. So they feel so relaxed. That's a lot of patients gave me the Google review. They said it's so relaxed. After the acupuncture, I feel so relaxed. I never felt so good.
Wow. Well, it's also you doing something for yourself, so that feels good. Just knowing that you're addressing some issues. Talk about sleep. Would anybody come to you and say, "Yeah, I have sleep issues. Can acupuncture help?"
Yes, actually, I have a lot. Even
Uh,
young people or older people, like all kind of patients, they said. So usually it's very, usually I have patients coming in, I will check their tongue. Actually, from their tongue, I can already tell they're sleeping good or bad. But of course, I will still, ask them how they are sleep. They will say, I actually, it's not good. I have trouble to fall asleep, and I wake up during the sleep. So then there are point behind the ear. Literally the point called peaceful sleep. So I
Wow.
usually give the point to the people, and yeah, they said, after the treatment, their sleep will, they can have a thorough sleep for the whole night. They don't
Okay.
wake up.
Yeah, that it's usually one of two things: can't fall asleep, or fall asleep no problem, but then you wake up later in the night and then you can't go back to sleep again. Wow. Anything else to add today when it comes to dealing with pain and cramps and acupuncture that maybe we missed?
So in Chinese medicine, we, like I mentioned, when you have blockage, usually you will have pain. If you don't have blockage, usually you don't have pain. But how can we avoid blockage, right? One thing I mentioned, in the summer, AC everywhere, try to, bring something to block the cold AC blow on you directly. That's one thing we can
Sure.
protect ourselves. The other thing is try to don't eat so much cold stuff. I know it's very tempting. The ice cream is cold, ice cold water, ice cold drink. Everything cold looks so good. But again, cold slow down, cold congeal. Cold can slow down your digestion, cold can slow down your blood movement. So try to avoid too much cold stuff.
Wow. Well, it stands to reason, you have leftovers. Let's say you made some soup, whatever it is, you put it in the refrigerator, you wait a little while, it's cold. Take a look at it. What does it look like? Like you said, it congeals, it becomes thick, and that's our blood and our body. Amazing. So I'm going to hand you a beverage right now. It's going to be room temperature, or it's going to be maybe, not hot tea, but a little warmer tea. Which would you pick out of the two?
I will pick warmer tea because actually, after you start to drink warmer stuff, you will feel so nice. Your stomach feel nice, and your whole body feel nice because when you have cold stuff again, your body has to heat it up to let your body use it. So you are like using your own
Hmm.
energy to take the energy in. Why? It's negative. It's like you want to get $100, but you have to pay $20 bucks first to use the $100. Why won't you just use the $100? Right?
Wow. That makes perfect sense. Our bodies run, close to 100 degrees, if you will, normal temperature, 98, right? Um, why would you want to put something cold in? Because now I see what you're saying, that your body has to work overtime to heat that up anyway. So why not start with something warmer? Wow. So insightful today, as always. Dr. Kelly, I know you're in New York City, where acupuncture obviously needs to be done, but you can do consults about anything else Chinese medicine related virtually. What's your website?
It's Kelly 121 acupuncture.com.
Thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate all the insight. I'm gonna drink some coffee, and guess what? It's a little warm.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.